welcome back to Lost in Theaters, the podcast where we talk about movies that have slipped through the cracks of pop culture. My name's Rachel, and I'm here with my dear beloved sister,
Ruth.
Oh, that's correct. It's been a bit of a break. Final exams ate Rachel alive. It was a brutal...
And then vomited her out.
Brutal experience.
Also alive.
Yes, but now I'm here again. Yes, and we're so excited. I'm really excited for this movie this week, Ruth. I've been wanting to do a movie like this for a while, and I just didn't quite get one in the bag until this time around.
I had a shiver of dread.
I don't think you need to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, no dread necessary.
No
This
dread?
is a genre of film we enjoy.
Involving fuzzy animals?
Are you ready for the title?
Oh no. Yes.
The Adventurers. Now.
That's it?
Yeah. It came out in 2017. It was filmed in 2016. I would like to point out for those who... I would just like to say that this is the English version title of the film.
What?
This film... what would you guess based off of the title, The Adventurers?
It's German.
Not where it's from. I meant, like, what it's about.
Oh, I don't know. Climbing Mount Everest, and it's horrific.
You know, right? Like,
you've betrayed me.
like,
I can't tell anymore. Because that was false. I don't actually think that. Adventurers make me think of, like, I don't know, D&D, children playing.
Something...
mice.
Right? Sure.
Or just, I don't know, mothers getting together, car trip.
Yeah. I agree. Any of those options would be really great.
Oh, no.
The people who decided to gave the English name to this also failed us.
What?
So it's a film from Hong Kong, an action film from Hong Kong, so it's in, I believe it's in Cantonese, I think.
So when we talked about
Wait.
reviewing American
Okay,
films.
here we didn't say we were gonna review American. We did Australian.
Yeah, I was confused about that too.
Were we? It's lost in theaters. The movie's lost in that didn't get popularity in America.
Do you have to re-listen to our What Are We Talking About podcast?
We might have to do that. I thought this was a good choice because so the thing is, because it sort of threw me off. When watching it didn't throw me off in a good way, because like Canteen Floss, there is English dialogue in the film. Quite, not all the time, because the characters who are, I don't know if all the characters are supposed to be from Hong Kong, but all the Chinese characters, they talk, I realize I've taken a stance on Hong Kong at this point. I don't know the situation in Hong Kong.
What?
I don't really, remember I read that National Geographic situation?
China and Hong Kong. Hong Kong is part of China? Hong Kong isn't part of China. Do we know? I don't know.
I think people are concerned about the situation generally. All that is to say, I've forgotten it. Oh yes, characters speak to each other in, again, I think Cantonese, because that's the primary...
Irish?
No, that's the version of, not the version, the dialect of Chinese spoken in Hong Kong.
There is a thriving Irish population in Hong Kong.
I think it's Scottish. The kilts?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's Scottish, not Irish. According to that, personally, I discovered that in that National Geographic magazine, that I discovered that there was a thing in Hong Kong. There was like a whole...
I was watching a YouTube video.
Oh, well, maybe that's it. Questions continue to arise.
We have really suspect sources.
Very suspect sources. Again. Okay, so, but the characters, they speak... when they can speak Cantonese to each other, they speak Chinese to each other. But if there's a Frenchman involved at one point, and when they talk to him in English, as well as other minor characters, they dialogue in English. So that was very interesting, because as an English speaker, it would sort of not lull you into a false sense of security, but it was like, oh yes, you get sort of. It was inviting to watch, because you could, you read the subtitles, but then you also sometimes didn't need to read the subtitles. So I really enjoyed that kind of way of watching the film.
Yeah.
But the I looked, so at the Chinese title, however, when I translated it as best as I could, actually is called The Grand Theft.
Dang. Okay.
So what would you guess the Grand Theft was about, Ruth? And tell me, where would that overlap with The Adventurers?
Cars. Treasure.
You know, yeah. That was...
Grand Theft Auto
No,
is a video game.
it is. And actually the translator thing was like, auto? And I was like, I don't, there's no really stealing of cars in this. Well, there might be, but it's not central at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, this movie, zero spoilers, are you ready? Is like, Ocean's 8 meets Man from U.N.C.L.E.
And I prefer Man from U.N.C.L.E. I don't want them combined.
We love Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's just such a great
The movie, not the show.
That's true.
The most recent movie.
The recent movie, not the show from, what, the 60s?
Yeah, it comes back.
But, I mean,
I've never seen the show. Or the first movie.
I mean, generally, actually, you could sprinkle a little Mission Impossible into this sort of genre. It's like a spy kind of thief situation, and the line, the music at one point, the person is, oh yes, Man from U.N.C.L.E. came out in 2015. This movie came out in 2017, and the music, Ruth, was so clearly a man from. They're like the pipes where they're like. That was a horrible pipe imitation. Whoa. I can't do the breathy pipe thing. The. You know in Man from U.N.C.L.E. where Ilya's running through the forest?
Yeah.
That music?
I can imagine.
Okay. There's also like scenes.
I believe you.
We'll go to minor spoilers later. But there are definitely scenes that seem to be inspired by Man from U.N.C.L.E. and the music is definitely at times inspired by Man from U.N.C.L.E. But
wait, which one came first?
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Really?
Yeah, just by like a year and a half.
Oh.
And then additionally, the Mission Impossible vibes are very strong as well, with like contraptions and interesting spy tricks and stuff. But yeah, except
tricks are for kids.
Except that it definitely gives you more Ocean's 11 situations where it's like these are the bad guys trying to do a robbery kind of thing. So it's not like in the other two movies it's good guys doing stuff, but in this one it's bad guys doing stuff. I would suggest this movie as like just anybody interested in a spy movie. It was a fun watch.
Would 5-year-olds be entertained?
Yeah. They would have trouble because you need subtitles in America for many American-speaking people who can't understand Cantonese. But it fits right into that category.
And my point, rating?
It's even lower on the Chaucer scale than Man from U.N.C.L.E., I would say.
No, rating.
I think it's like PG-13 maybe. Yeah, that would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, lower on the Chaucer scale than Man from U.N.C.L.E.
But violence-wise?
I say that now. There is that one weird, really gross thing we'll talk about, but it is, you don't ever see it. You just sort of.
Sometimes that makes it worse.
But like you could be misinformed about the situation.
What? Okay.
It was a fun movie to watch. All the actors were fun to watch. They were great actors.
Is the filming style more Ocean's or more U.N.C.L.E.?
Okay, so it wasn't as stylized as Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
But it was like a de-stylized Man from U.N.C.L.E. than Ocean's because they're... Oh, no. Like I say, it was a really good combination because they did the thing where in like Ocean's 11 where they're like, we're going to break into the vault and here's what we're going to do. And they do this whole thing. There are moments where it sort of does that differently, but it kind of plays to that illusion, to that kind of film style. Okay. I would say, yeah, so Ocean's 8 more than Ocean's 11, and then de-stylized from Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
That's all you wanted to know. Yeah.
Would you show your 10-year-old this movie?
I might actually. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Maybe my 12-year-old, depending on how their views of the world, But I mean,
how old is your youngest now? Rachel has no children.
I have no children. My hordes and hordes of children. No. Yeah. It's. I could have seen it as
the movie, not the child.
No, the movie. Yeah,
Okay.
I could have seen it at 12, and it would have just
Okay.
been among
Noted.
the movies that I saw when I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Medium spoilers?
medium spoilers. Are you ready? It's such a fun movie.
I'm never ready.
You're never ready. Here we go. Okay, so medium spoilers is you've got 3 main characters on a spy team. The head
Tres
guy.
amigos.
Not quite.
Dang it.
The head guy, the tech guy, and the girl. Okay.
Guy, girl.
Yes.
Cool.
So Man from U.N.C.L.E. dynamic in that, it is the guy girl situation.
Okay.
So like the girl does some cool stuff, and the guys are like, what? That kind of thing.
We had different impressions of that movie.
Oh no. Well, the thing is, the girl isn't like the girl from Man from U.N.C.L.E. because she isn't super like trained in Man from U.N.C.L.E., whereas the girl in this one is just a normal like.
Spy.
They're not spies. They're thieves. They're definitely thieves.
Spy.
Also, I missed the general plot of the film until about halfway through. I was putting pieces together.
What?
I think that's because...
How did you do that?
Because I was trying to follow things too closely, whereas if I had let it wash over me, I would have gotten it a little faster.
Interesting.
So there's these 3 components to like a master... Like there's like a necklace that was broken up and then sold in parts.
Okay.
And then there's this guy who's trying to get... The head guy is trying to get all the parts back together on behalf of a different guy.
So...
Oh, his name is Zheng, I think? Zhang? Z-H-E-N-G.
That's a sound.
Oh, you think?
I need to double check.
Okay.
I know it's not a Z sound,
Okay.
as far as I remember.
I feel like... No, because there's the French guy calls him Zhang, I think.
Okay. Well, the French guy.
Yeah, but it seemed appropriate. So this French guy is a French cop who's trying to chase him down. This movie takes place in Europe. Most of Europe, which I thought was really interesting. Just because, I don't know. It was a great movie taking place in Europe. They went to Eastern Europe, which, again, you remember today I was talking about Eastern Europe. That's because I had this on the brain. I got to see Eastern Europe in its full glory.
I don't remember you talking about Eastern Europe.
Oh, it was that random comment at the dinner table where I was like, Joseph, where do you want to go? Anywhere on vacation, anywhere, ever.
I think I was really hungry and then I ate too many tortillas and now I desperately need you to keep me awake.
Oh, dear. Okay. So, it's these 3 people and they're working together. The oldest guy, the head guy, is thinking of retiring. But things get more complicated because they're trying to get all these jewels together. It's quite a complicated film, actually. There's lots of moving parts, several different schemes that have to work together. Also a bit of a revenge plot, because in the first little bit, the first scene, I'm gonna call him Zhang. Zheng. I know Zheng. Okay, Zheng gets out of prison. As that's the very the second scene or whatever, and someone sold him out, and he wants to get revenge on that person. But it's a very quiet revenge. It's not like Inigo Montoya revenge where he's like, "This is my life." He's like, "This is what I need to find."
Has
this
anyone
out.
done anything as good since?
With Inigo Montoya?
Yeah,
About revenge?
like that sort of revenge level. That's pretty hard to beat.
I don't know. I think vendettas are definitely a thing. Like, the whole Taken franchise, which I haven't seen, is, I will find you. I think. Again, I haven't seen Taken.
Alrighty.
It's Liam Neeson, right? Anyway.
Maybe.
So, yeah, it's really great. They're, like I said, they've all got their weird quirks and winsome personalities. They're trying to get together these jewels on behalf of their head, like, crime boss guy.
Okay.
And, yeah. And there's also a little romance between one of the guys, the head guy, and his fiance, who left him when he went to prison. It's complicated.
That sounds like Oceans.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He went to prison, and then she ends up helping the French guy trace him down. So it's gets complicated really fast.
Does this mean we're transitioning?
Yes! Major spoiler section. Are we ready?
Spoil.
Okay, like I said, so the very first scene is this kind of like, which explains.
Were those combat sounds?
No.
What was that?
They were like newspaper reel sounds, like news report sounds, where it's like one thing, another thing, different people talking about how these jewels were stolen.
Okay.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. And then they put them together, and it's the whole thing, and oh my gosh.
Makes me think of that darn cat.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes me think of
Black
the Thin
and
Man.
White. Yeah. But the Thin Man is older.
And there's that net of information that's flung out over the country.
And they do the film backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
Was that dial-up?
No.
That you were just doing? What were you doing?
That's Morse code, I think. Right?
Maybe.
I don't know how they would. I need to look at that scene again in Man from U.N.C.L.E. Anyway, whine it. Accused of murder.
That is one we can't do.
The guy gets out of prison. There's somebody following him, and then a helicopter takes him away.
The leader.
So that opening scene,
he flew away.
Is sort of informs us that Jean has somebody behind him, like backing him, who's like got money.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's pretty much all you need to know. So the next scene opens with there's a guy going.
Murder. Nope.
He's like dressed up as a waiter,
Uh-huh.
and he goes in and then sneaks into like a tech room of this fancy like place, and then the guy from the beginning, also goes in, but he goes in as a guest. He like steals someone's thing from their pocket, their invitation. He makes it in, and
names would be real helpful here.
I call them the tech guy.
Uh-huh.
And then Jean, and then Amazon, because I watched this on Amazon, called the girl Red Bean.
I've forgotten the words.
So I call her the girl or Red.
Red Bean. It's a diminutive. It's a dang it.
Diminutive might
what
be
is
the word.
red bean paste called in Japanese?
I don't know.
I'm supposed to know this one.
Oh, I Red Bean is a thing
It's good.
Dad had a lot
like
of it. Anyways,
Yeah.
So they go, and so the two guys are like talking about, you know, they're here. They've got some sort of thief plan situation going on, and then they're like, we're waiting for the third member of our team, and then it cuts to this girl in a bar, and she's arm wrestling this dude, and she like gets his arm over the thing, and then she just walks out, and, you know, she wins a bunch of money and then pays for everybody's beers, and then she drives away and then puts in her earpiece, and she's like, hey guys, what's going on? And then she's done like a ton of research on them, and she scares the tech guy because he's like, oh, what, you know, your name, I know your name, and then she's like, turns out I know everything about you. And then she like takes off a wig and puts on this new cloak, and so at this sort of, there's a gala, it's an auction going on that they're attending, that Jean is attending, and he she puts on because meanwhile outside the auction there's a protest against animal cruelty going on.
What?
Because, and this was so good, the proceeds from the auction are gonna, they do it so, they explain everything. It's so great. The proceeds from the auction are going towards a zoo for like taking care of the animals at a zoo.
Whoa.
And so the protesters outside are like protesting animal cruelty.
Yeah.
Because they don't approve of zoos or something. And so she dresses up like a protester and joins the crowd, and she always has like a sucker in her mouth. It's pretty great. It's like her thing.
Yeah.
And so so the French guy, who I mentioned in the beginning part, he meets Jean when he gets out of prison, and then he parts ways, and then he sort of pressures a guy to tell him where Jean's gonna be, and he finds out he's gonna be at this auction. So he shows up at the auction and tells them, I think you're going to be robbed, finds Jean on the screen, and by this time the three people who are doing the robbery, they're like, oh man, something's happening, and Jean's like, yeah, I know, we're just gonna stick with the plan. So they just stick with the plan. The plan involves selling the piece gets sold, and then starting the girl in the crowd breaks the barrier and starts a riot and pushes everybody like from the protest, runs into the building. Which means that they close up the auction item and put it away.
Okay.
And in the vault, which then the tech guy goes and busts out of the vault.
Okay.
With this mysterious little thing that like crumbles walls, like it sort of vibrates and goes.
Yeah. So
he goes through the
resonance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So he goes through the wall. The other guys, there's this tension where the detective has figured out that what they're actually doing. They're stealing it from the vault. So he tries to get them in, and he almost gets caught. He doesn't get caught. Ultimately, they all get out safe, which is great. It's a really great scene. It's so fun to watch because, I mean, yeah, everyone's being just a little bit crazy. There's a great car chase at the end with the tech guy and the girl drive the car away, and the guy in the suit, he just sort of walks away. They all meet up at the airstrip, and so the combination of jewels this is like one of the pieces of the three jewels that were split up. Yeah. And Zhang meets with another guy who it was kind of random. They meet up though and it's called Gaia. These three jewels put together are called Gaia.
Like the great goddess?
Exactly.
Or not goddess.
Yeah, the primordial being.
Yeah.
Gaia. And so he's like, no, I want to find out who burned me or who turned me in. Yeah. And I'm gonna get this piece of Gaia back to Kong, Uncle Kong. She's great. Okay. So they all go. So the three thieves meet up at the airstrip, and through a series of somewhat funny situations, the guys take off on an airplane, leaving Red to have to ride a motorcycle all the way to wherever they're going.
Rude.
Cut to the detective who has gotten in trouble for the car chase that was an utter disaster, and he's like, you can't do this, man. His boss is like, you have to be held accountable.
That's interesting.
I know. And
you never
like,
see that bit.
No, and he's like, but I need to get this guy. And he's got these like little stress balls, the ones that are like solid and have little bells inside. And they go,
I've never even heard of these.
You never heard of these?
No.
Okay.
When I think stress ball, I think like squeeze the thing.
Yeah, no, these are just sort of like rotation ones.
What the?
It's very interesting.
Huh. Those have to be really irritating to people around him.
They are a little bit irritating. They do come up. That does appear, and he's trying to relieve his stress. Anyways. Oops. So he says, okay, can I bring someone on to help me? And he's like, yes. The good boss is like, do it. Who do you want on? And he's like, it's a civilian. He's like, that's not what I meant. He goes and he meets up with this girl named Amber Lee. And he says, Amber, you've been involved in this case. She figures out, she's like, you want me involved with this guy. I don't want to do this. He's like, well, contact me if you do. So that night, there's this, it's really funny, because they go to their separate houses, right? And turns out they both, like, have a drink, right? And, but before he even has a drink, the French guy traps a spider under a cup and then starts talking to it. And he says, it's been a long time. You know, how are you doing?
Oh, no.
It's not a sign of insanity. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
It's really interesting character development.
Talk to the...
Yeah.
Done that.
She ends up calling him, though, and deciding that, yes, she is going to help.
Okay.
Then, let's see.
So the Frenchman and the detective live together. Not the detective, policeman or whatever.
No, they were at the station, and then he went home.
Oh.
The Frenchman did.
So why are you telling me about the Frenchman right now?
Oh, because that was just, he is getting the help of this woman named Amber, who has experience with art and stuff, and has been betrayed by Zhang before.
Okay.
Apparently. So
wait, is the detective guy the Frenchman?
Yes. He's a French detective.
That completely escaped me. That might not be your fault.
Well, it's a good thing you're clarifying so that people don't get totally confused. Then cut to Prague.
What? Why are we in Prague?
I know! It was so exciting! Because the guys visit Uncle Kong, who lives in Prague.
Oh.
And they go and they give him the jewelry because he's the guy who hired them to do this. And he's, Zhang is like, well, I'm retiring.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just wanted to finish this after I got out. He's like, okay. So he gives him the check, his finishing out check. And because the other guy is younger than him, and so he's sitting there, just sort of watching everything.
Yeah.
He looks at the check and it's less, and he's like, so what's with this? And then now here's the thing about Uncle Kong is that he has developed a hobby making Russian nesting dolls.
Oh no.
So he hands him this huge Russian nesting doll.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I had Russian nesting dolls as big as these. They're beautiful. There's 7 of them inside every single one of them. So he opens it, and the faces on them, I'm trying to remember the faces on these Russian nesting dolls. He painted them, right?
Yeah.
So he opens it up, and inside there's this thing, and it looks kind of like a clam, and it's got a star on it. It's maybe 2 octagons rotated, and that's how many.
Is it a clam?
No. And then you have a flashback. Zhang sort of just has a flashback, and he pictures himself getting beaten on the back and falling over, and then someone taking something from him, and the guy sticking out his tongue, and it's got the star on it, and then he goes, and he says, thank you. This is where the rest of his paycheck went, was in killing this guy. The tongue, it was a tongue, not a clam, in the jar. And
what?
The tongue was evidence of the killing.
Inside of the babushka dolls.
Yeah, it was but it's also in a case. So it's there's this pill of liquid with a tongue in it.
Inside the doll.
It was horrifying. The Russian nesting dolls are a little excessive, but it's perfect.
Okay.
And really weird. And the guy, the tech guy's reaction is beautiful. He already is a bit queasy, and he's just is that a tongue? And he's like, He's like, great. He's over there feeling ill. It's really quite alarming. So they leave. He's satisfied. He asks who betrayed him, and Kong says it was his wife who turned him in. Not his wife. His fiance turned him in. And so they leave, and they're being followed by someone, and the tech guy, and Zhang leave Kong's, and they split up, and then the person who was following them turned out to be Amber, who we find out was his fiance, who's helping the French detective. So she follows him. She puts this thing on his phone that steals information from his phone, and they have a little conversation. It's a little hard. She's like,
is Amber Red Bean?
No.
Noted. Okay, good.
Yes.
For a second I thought I conflated them.
No.
Okay.
They are different. This is important.
Oh no.
Zhang, back at Uncle Kong's, said that he was gonna do another job, and I think it's because he wanted more money so he could retire better. I think that's why.
Okay.
It was a little unclear. I can't remember all the details,
They
but
always want more money.
they're gonna get the rope of life.
Oh yeah, chill, whatever.
I think it just
what?
it's just like a name for a fancy jewelry situation.
That makes sense.
So
Pearls.
the little thing that Amber put on Zhang's phone stole all the information on it, like copied it and sent it to the French detective and Amber, so they know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And everything. There's this great Red Bean shows up in the tunnel there's a tunnel. They all meet up again. The three of them meet up again to go and do this plan, but they also figure out that Amber stole the information. So they're like, should we change the plan? And he's like, no, we'll just keep going. Let's just do what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So this rope of life is the last component to complete Gaia.
Oh.
So I think they're trying to complete Gaia. I would rewatch this film easily. I would easily
watch it with you.
Yeah, it would be so fun. It's quite
fun.
So they're trying to complete these components.
Yeah.
And that's what this last thing is.
Okay.
Now the inspector. Oh, okay. So they go to this castle. The castle where
Castlevania. Nope.
It's in.
Nope, sorry.
No. Where is this castle? It's in another random Eastern European place. It's really great.
Castlevania.
No.
Sorry.
The inspector, the French detective, warns the guy who owns the rope of life. He's like, "You're gonna get robbed." He's like, "Oh yeah, no way." Then
no way.
Red Bean. So they do surveillance. The three thieves do surveillance on the castle. Red Bean, randomly walks by the guy with his dog.
Okay.
At one point, and just sort of like has another small dog.
What?
And it makes this whole situation that's like he notices her, and then she shows up again later at a wine tasting of his. Doesn't accept his advances, says not interested in you, goes away.
Is she doing this all on purpose?
Yes, because then he calls her again about an interview because she's claimed that she's a wine taster person.
Okay.
The tech guy is so confused. It's wonderfully funny how confused he is. He's like, "Why is she doing this? I don't understand." And then he calls her back and he's like, "How did she know this is gonna happen?"
Oh my gosh.
It's very funny. And so and then the other guy's like, "It's just how it is, man." So
she's a people person.
She is.
She gets people work.
Invited to his castle.
Okay.
To do this interview. In the process, she convinces him to show her the rope of life in the premise of a wine interview.
What?
And this is the movie gloriousness, Ruth. This would never work in real life, but it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Because she gets down into he leads her through a secret passageway to see the vault. Because the idea is he's so inflated. He's self-inflated.
Oh, okay.
Right? He's so narcissistic. He can't see
that's a real
that she's
thing.
Manipulating him.
Yeah.
And she just, like, takes pictures and has, like, a special camera thing on her glasses, and it's a whole thing. And there's this special, like, handprint thing on and it makes the things, and it's
there
great.
Was an opening motion she just
there
made.
Was it the glass case is handprint opened.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty normal state of the art security. And the castle, you pass a random tour guide person as she leaves. This person isn't speaking Cantonese or English, so the subtitles were really important. I can't remember what language she's speaking, but she explains that the castle used to be owned by Nazis and is full of secret tunnels.
Dang!
It was just a fun little tidbit about the castle. So, the French inspector saw all this happen, sees her at the castle, because he's spying now on them, and follows her out, but then she escapes in a crowd kind of thing.
Okay.
Meanwhile, so then she tells Zheng that the inspector's back, and then Zheng goes and visits the inspector at the shooting range. Surprise! Tells him to get out and take Amber away. Just don't get Amber involved, because I don't want that. And then he escapes again. Meanwhile, Red Bean and the tech guy have a little moment, because again, it's just movie gloriousness. The hand scanner that they've developed to get his handprints is like a corset hand scanner, because they're gonna be dancing. She's been invited to his birthday party.
Interesting.
So, like, in the process of testing out the hand scanner. They have like a little thing. They're just like, look, your eyes. And then they, they don't look at each other's eyes really. And then
What?
it's like a little moment, they're like, maybe we like each other. What could it mean?
Okay.
Anyway. And then I think they 3D printed a full scale model of the castle. There's this glorious model of the castle that they're using to figure out how to.
You mean the filmmakers?
No, I mean the people in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they use it to try and figure out how to break in.
Dang.
To discuss it. It's this larger than our breakfast table model of the castle.
Wow.
It's great. I love it so much. They have no shortage of finances.
Our breakfast table is the same as the dinner table, yes?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, we have
only
one
have
house
one
table. Yeah, it's about the size of a bed, I would say. Right?
Actually, now that you say that, I think it's bigger.
Yeah.
A twin? It's bigger than a twin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's got rounded edges. So if you drew an oval around a twin bed, that's the size of our table?
I think it's still bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then I would say maybe it's only the model is only slightly bigger than our table.
Noted. For all of those people who know our table.
Well, like I said, it's slightly bigger than an oval drawn around a twin bed.
Okay, there you go.
So, the way the thing works is they smuggle the tech guy in a fake barrel of wine.
They went Hobbit on this.
They went full Hobbit. I'm telling you, it's a wonderful film. The other guy uses a grappling hook gun to scale the first wall of the castle, and then he has this backpack with wheels on it.
What?
That he uses to roll. He attaches a rope to the second tier of the castle, and then rolls with his backpack with wheels up over the castle.
Gosh.
And then the girl is invited to the party, so she dances with the guy and gets the handprints.
Yeah.
And that's the way it all works. There's a great Mission Impossible situation where there's lasers and he goes down, and then unfortunately that doesn't work out, and so he has to climb back up, but then because the tech guy accidentally, one of the people he knocked out wakes up and tries to deactivate it. And then the best part, actually, I've watched this scene several times because it was so funny. There's the guys in the security room are actually singing "Happy Birthday"
to who?
to one of the other guards.
Oh no!
There's a little candle, and they're like, "Happy birthday to you," and then the tech guy comes in and tranquilizes them all.
Oh my gosh, no!
It's so funny. Oh, it was I was like, oh my gosh. So you just get the end of the song.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Yes. And so one of them wakes up, and there's a whole kerfuffle, and then the guy who's being lowered, Jung is being lowered, has to climb up, and then they have to do it down again. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They get the handprints, but then the inspector, who's just on the ball, has figured it all out, shows up, outs the girl, so the billionaire guy who she was conning, figures it out. It's like, I am so sad. And she feels a little bad, which I was a little weirded out by. I wasn't sure if she actually felt bad. I couldn't tell. Anyways, it was a very convoluted, emotional moment for me. So I mean, the actress did a really good job of nuancing everything. Because none of it felt fake. It wasn't but there seemed to be genuine emotion. I just couldn't figure out what it was.
Interesting.
It was really interesting. Anyways, so they get Jean gets the necklace ultimately, and then the tech guy saves the girl, and then they run away they run through a forest together, jump on a 4-wheeler, and there's these great scenes. This was from Man from U.N.C.L.E. actually,
okay.
Where there's the Zhang is on a motorcycle, and so the inspector and Amber are chasing Zhang on a motorcycle, and the other two are on this 4-wheeled thing. It's more like a rover of sorts because it's got a frame. No, it doesn't have a frame.
No frame.
It's like a 4-wheeler, yes, but larger.
Right.
So they are running through the forest. There's these motorcycles jumping through trees, and you're like, this is not safe, but it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And they run around, and then Zhang, the inspector, corners Zhang. He gets shot, falls off the bike. he's gonna have to kill him. But then Amber, because the inspector gets out of the car, and then Amber saves Zhang and gets him in the car, and they drive away. Amber had a change of heart. The Amber and the inspector had a bonding moment a few scenes ago, which involved like betrayal, and they're both like, we've both been betrayed. Again, it's a very emotionally fascinating film. So then,
is she still the other guy's fiance, by the way?
They're not fiance anymore, but they still like each other a little bit. They just, how could you be betrayed like that, Ruth? It's complicated. And then the other guy, Tech Guy and Red Bean meet up with the guy on the motorcycle and the girl in the spot, and they've all got parachutes and they're gonna jump, but then none other than Uncle Kong himself shows up.
What?
I know! And he's like, give me the necklace you got. And he's like, well, then the tech guy's like, well, where's our money? And he's like, you think that this is a thing? And then we sort of figure out that, like, Uncle Kong is a bad guy, and he's gonna shoot them instead of give them money.
Okay.
And then Red Bean turns out to be a traitor!
Okay.
It's heartbreaking! And then they take Amber, and Red Bean goes with them in a helicopter, and they all go away with the money, with the necklace. And then the inspector shows up. They just can't catch a break. And so the inspector shows up, but the tech guy still had his backpack, his parachute on. And so Zhang just says, jump off the cliff, dude. Just go. Just go, man. So he does. And then Zhang, gets taken. And so they're back in prison. The French inspector and Zhang have a little heart-to-heart where he's like, I will get Kong and save the girl, Amber. You just have to let me do it. And the inspector's like, I don't know if I should trust you. And then he's like, on one condition, we get to keep Gaia, the necklace, the thing, when we get it. The inspector says, you have to let me keep Gaia, okay. And I'll let you go get her, kind of thing. So they do that. And then so the tech guy and Zhang work together.
Okay.
But it's really weird because they show up, Red Bean, they split up, and then Zhang finds this Russian nesting doll and he opens it and there's a bomb inside with the numbers counting down, but the counting down doesn't mean it blows up because Kong just comes around the corner. You're like, what? That's weird. I was really confused. I was like, that's a weird bomb. I thought it was like a flaw. And then Red Bean shows up and she's gotten the tech guy and everybody's there and Amber's there and everybody's stuck there now. The bomb is a proximity bomb that goes the opposite direction. When Gaia, the jewels, are a kilometer away, it'll explode.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's counting down distance. Okay. I was like, that's actually brilliant. So there's he's gonna sell Gaia, he says, and then they're gonna blow up when it goes away. And so he has Red Bean put a gun on them, like wait with them to shoot them.
So Red Bean
is his little henchman.
But okay, so she didn't betray them.
She did betray them, but not Kong. Okay. So she's now like got them cornered with a gun.
Oh.
Them and that weird Russian nesting doll with all their faces on it. All 4 of their faces are on the nesting doll.
Oh.
Inside.
Okay.
Yeah, as part of his Kong's bizarreness. So he goes down. His second in command says, "We have a new buyer." Okay. So they go down, and it's a new sort of like Russian buyer guy.
Yeah.
And this guy, what happens, Ruth? I've totally lost my brain. Through a series of processes.
Okay.
Zhang persuades Red Bean to, so Zhang shows up and he's holding a gun on Red Bean, and then Kong shoots Red Bean.
Oh no.
And then he's like, what? Zhang's like, you're just such a weird, what's happening? Why are you bad? You're a bad man. And we need you need to listen to me, Mr. Buyerman. And he's like, what? Mr. Buyerman? Mr. Buyerman's like, why? I don't understand. He says, because he killed your brother. And you're like, what? And then you see that he has a tattoo on his neck that's the same star that was on the tongue guy, the thing. And then we had a flashback. And actually, Uncle Kong's second in command told Zhang that it was actually Kong who betrayed him.
Oh.
And he set up the second buyer.
Okay.
This Russian buyer's upset.
Yeah.
Chaos explodes, generally. Red Bean actually wasn't shot because she had a vest on.
Oh, cool.
Tech guy uses some tech to blow things up. There's a moment where we think that he's thrown the jewels back as they run away from Kong in the chaos. So Red Bean, Zhang escape with Tech guy and Amber. He throws the jewels in his briefcase, but he opens the briefcase, Kong does, in the van and realizes that it's actually a proximity bomb.
Aw, dang.
He's like, wait! Don't move! So they stop the car, and then the car behind them runs into them, and they go the extra, 2 meters, and they blow up. And, they have the jewels, and, the Amber and Zhang are happy, and...
Wait, so Kong was the one who blew up?
Yes.
Oh, you said Zhang.
Oh. Kong blew up. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, I was worried.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing.
Okay.
So they all make it, and the four of them.
I think it's Zhang, by the way.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listeners at home. I failed you. Anyways, Zhang and his probably now gonna be wife are happily together.
Yeah.
And then the tech guy tries to kiss Red Bean because she's switched sides again.
Yeah.
And she slaps him, and it's a good thing.
And then it's a good thing.
And then there's a newspaper article. No. So what happens? The French detective is back home.
Yeah.
The jewels, Gaia has been returned to its proper home. All four of the three pieces have been returned to their rightful place. And what's the other piece of information? Oh, he's been gifted in the mail 2 more of those stress ball things. And then the last scene is they all drive away in a red convertible together. All 4 of them drive off into the sunset.
So they have money somehow?
Yeah, they're thieves, Ruth.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
But it's okay.
It's okay. It went well. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie.
Okay.
It was fun to watch. I wouldn't say it's as tight as Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
But it's
still good.
Yeah, it's still good. It's fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns?
No.
Lots of Cantonese, so just be prepared for that.
Okay.
But still not too much, because there are some. Like Amber and the detective, all the whole time they're together, they talk in English.
Interesting.
Because I don't think the inspector speaks Cantonese.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it does sound fun. I would watch it.
Right? Yeah. It's definitely, I feel like it fits into that genre of films like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And so if you want another one of those kinds of movies, you should totally check out The Adventurers. You'll find it under the name The Adventurers. But why? I don't know why they called it The Adventurers.
Who produced it?
As a Hong Kong film group that I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of movies called The Adventurers.
It's directed by... No, there isn't, actually. This one came out in 2017 and is directed by Stephen Fung.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, everyone,
Thank you.
you've been filled in on this particular piece of cinema that has been lost in American theaters.
Yay!
Thank you so much for listening. We hope to hear from you again. You can press whatever that will indicate that you're interested in listening to our podcast.
Like thumbs up and hearts.
Yes, and follows and whatever else there is. Subscribings. I don't know. Anyway,
we have an Instagram.
Oh, we do! At Lost in Theaters.
Yeah.
That's us.
It can help you see what in the world we're talking about.
Yes, you'll get some visuals. I have some really great visuals for this one. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.